Hey, movie fans, and welcome back to the David Lee channel, where I love to talk about movies and movie news. Well, today I just got on my first screening of Guardians of the Galaxy. Now, this film is probably my most anticipated movie of the year, not because it's the Marvel name, not because it's this Marvel superhero movie, but because it's all that with the sci-fi elements. Now, after the first trailer of this film, I was hooked, and I told myself, I am not going to watch any more trailers because they have my money right now and I just don't want anything spoiled. So I kind of went into this movie with fresh eyes, and the joy that you see in this film comes off so perfectly that I was just sitting there. And you know what I thought when I was watching this film? I thought this is most likely what I felt as a child watching Star Wars for the very first time and seeing this universe which is so much fun, just coming at me at full force, and it was just mind blowing with how much I enjoy this film. Now, is this film perfect? No, it's not, but it just has this it factor that just blew me away, and I'm hopefully with going on with the years, Hollywood will look at this and say, the world is ready now for more sci-fi epics. So, with this film, we start out with Starlord. Now, Starlord, he is our human element to this film, and you see him starting out just like as a little kid. And I loved how they showed first him on Earth, and him being taken away from that. I mean, it was such a shock for us to see this little kid who just lost his mother and runs out to the field and just gets taken away by this alien spaceship and they'd be thrown into this world. It was just like us, the audience, was seeing this little kid and just getting emotionally invested in him, and then being thrown out into the outer space. It was perfect the way it was just shot, and to see how Star Lord is as an adult is just so much fun. He has a little bit of a Harrison Ford in him, and with a little bit of touch of Luke Skywalker, that was just absolutely perfect. And you see Star Lord, he's going in, he's going to try to get this orb. And you have in here these other people are trying to get this orb. And so it's just a mad dash to get the orb, find out what it is, and just the whole mind blowing experience of this film just ensues. This film was just fun. Now, I loved how with Star Lord, you knew what you were getting. But with the other characters around him, it was just amazing how much emotional depth they had to them. But the movie never goes and tries to be a movie where it says, okay, now we're just going to focus on this character, this character, this character. They kind of give you a little bit of a taste of the character, but it makes you wanting more. Like with Rocket Raccoon. Rocket Raccoon could have been easily the Jar Jar Binks of this film. But the way that the film was directed and written, his character just grew on you and grew on you. I mean, you first just see him just as a person who's just looking at just getting a buck. But once you get in depth with him, you want to just hold him tight and be like, tell him it's going to be okay. And you can say that about every single character. They all have their weaknesses to them, but together they are stronger. That is where this film is just perfect. When you have not just the epicness of the sci-fi elements in there, but of these just human emotions of these characters who are just orphans. Like all of them are orphans coming together and finding a family amongst each other, no matter how dysfunctional that family is. It's just absolutely perfect to see the dynamic between our four characters. Ah, this movie was so perfect. Not I won't say perfect, but just the elements that they threw in there were great. Groot, oh my god, Vin Diesel, he did a perfect job. You have Gamora, the female assassin, who is so freaking badass, and I would love for her to just get her own spin-off movie. But first, we have to get a Black Widow. And then you have in there Drax. Now Drax the Destroyer. I believe that's what they call him in the comics because I'm a comics guy, but I'm more of a DC, not a Marvel. So like when I was getting into this movie, the characters were also brand new. But Drax, okay, yeah, I do know that the actor, he was a UFC fighter, I believe, and to see him come out and he does give a awesome performance, but you definitely see where his lack of acting is coming through, where he gives out the performance and says exactly why Drax is doing what he's doing, but there are certain scenes where you never felt the weight of what was going on. That was only one of the only downsides I could say of this film, but the biggest downside is definitely the main villain. Ronan. Wow. Okay. When you see this character, he is almost generic at most, where you see him and at this point we already know who the big baddie is of the whole Avenger universe. So when we see this film and we see Ronan, we get the sense that this is basically in sense of a video game term where this is just the mini boss to the mega boss out there. And so I could never really say that I could just fear Ronan. I mean, yes, he is powerful and he does have some badass scenes, but just knowing that there's that extra baddie out there, it had me at the moment just thinking that this is just a sub boss. We need to just barrel through him and just go on through. And so when I was looking at that, I just could never get the real sense of how awesome this movie could have been if they had. Because I always thought that the superheroes are only as good as their villains that they're fighting. And so when I saw the Guardians of the Galaxy, seeing how well they were portrayed in this film, and to see how weak the villain was, kind of just had me at a loss. And also in here, it was awesome because we got the universe of the Marvel universe being opened up with the Guardians of the Galaxy. We also had the Nova Corps, and I gotta say, I'm glad that they didn't throw in the Nova Corps Marvel superhero into there. I'm glad that they just had him. You just saw the front face of the Nova Corps. You just got to see what basically it would be like in terms of just like seeing the our government in just on television. You just see them at face value, and so I'm interested to see if Marvel is going to take this element of the Nova Corps and make it into their own film, and just make us think that there's something a little bit more. Because with the Nova Corps in this film, they were never really, let's say, proficient in what they do. I mean, a lot of the times the Guardians of the Galaxy are making the Nova Corps look pretty stupid at points. But there were, at the end, at the climax of this film, the Nova Corps does something that's pretty freaking amazing. So, overall, with this film of Guardians of the Galaxy, I had a blast. I mean, I had a huge smile on my face. Yes, there were problems at points, but the greatness of the high points of this film just overweigh the low points. And I can easily say that this is probably one of the best Marvel films out there. No, it is not anywhere near the ballpark of an Avengers or a Captain America 2 or an Iron Man film, the first Iron Man film, but this is definitely is the building blocks to have an epic, trilogy with the Guardians of the Galaxies. And I'm hoping that in the future, Marvel just keeps the Guardians of the Galaxies out in outer space and having this epic battle with Thanos. I mean, it would just be awesome. So, that's my review of Guardians of the Galaxy. I would say to everybody, go out and see this film. If you haven't seen this film, what are you doing? Go out and see this damn film because it's that good. So remember, people, tell me what you thought about the film down below. Let me know if you are going to wait on this film. Let's just get the conversation started, because that's one thing I'm here to do. I just love talking about movies. As you guys can tell, I'm just very enthusiastic about this film. And in the end, I'm going to give Guardians of the Galaxy a B+. A fun-ass movie, and you guys should all go see it. So remember, comment down below and let me know. And rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time on the David Lee channel.